Hey guys, so we're back. It's been a bit. Um, so I'm gonna be a little low energy for this stream. I don't know if I'm gonna have anybody join in. But I do want to try and finish off the jumps while I can. So for anybody who doesn't see the Discord stuff, basically, there just hasn't been a lot of streaming lately because of the fact that we've been having mandatory overtime at work, and it's just been a little bit tough on me this year, so I've been kind of left really exhausted. So yeah, I haven't really been up for much lately, unfortunately. Which means that the streams, of course, end up having to get canceled or paused or whatever, because I'm just really, really worn out. But I wanted to try and do some of the log design jumps, which luckily, because they're going to be logs, should be relatively simple. Did I put these into a group yet? I don't think I did. Alright, let's go ahead and put these under a cross-country group. Now we can just hide this stuff. But yeah, work's been very busy, and has just kind of been eating a lot of my energy. I also had like kind of 2.5 new trainees. I say half because one of my trainees is just an intern, so I was only like giving him a little bit of training, and then he's kind of just on his own doing like very basic things. So but I have 2 full-time trainees right now, and I just went through 2 weeks of 48s, luckily not back to back, but even with the week in between the two, which was Valentine's week, I'm just absolutely wiped. Like, God, I'm just so tired. So if I don't sound very enthusiastic, that would be why. Like, I'm still excited to do things. I just realized this is like very far out. Why are you so far out? I'm gonna scoot this back in a little bit. No, wait, maybe I left it far out because of the entrance? No, I'm gonna scoot it back in anyways. Scoot that baby in. Okay. But yeah, just been very tired, haven't had much energy to work on art. It's been kind of in like bursts, I guess, where it's like sometimes I'll get enough energy back to actually do things like, you know, draw or write or something. But yeah, it's not been great. Anyways, so I wanted to do some log jumps. I have some reference images here. Actually, I could show you guys. Swap monitor over for a second. So here's some jumps I pulled off of Google. These are kind of what I'm looking towards trying to recreate. I don't know which ones specifically I'm gonna do. I kind of like the idea of doing the ones that are very like rough logs. Some of these are very like interesting. Like this one is very interesting, definitely. This kind of stuff is mostly what I'm looking to do, like just things that are very simple, like a bunch of logs stacked on top of each other, just like singular logs on the ground, stuff like this. I don't want to do anything fancy like this, though, anything that's got like really interesting like knots and curls in it. I want it to just be very basic, like cylinder shapes to start off with, and let everything else be something that I hopefully can texture in later. Let's swap back. There we go. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm aiming for. And then that will kind of round off the basics of the cross-country jumps. I think with these ones, because they're logs, it's pretty easy to just resize things. So I know I had kind of like 2 different levels, like a shorter one and then a taller one for a lot of these. I don't even know if we're gonna need to worry about that with these ones, because technically the logs could probably just get resized because they can come in any size. So we'll see. For sure, I don't want them to be too heavy on the polys, though. That's the one thing I'm worried about with this. Why is that like... I would like it to sit more flat against the ground. I want the pivot to be like up and down properly. I'm trying to think. I could just set it like that. I think that's fine. It may not be like perfect, but it's technically close enough. Do something like that. And then... yeah, it is through the ground. Okay, so that's what I want. I want it to feel like it's actually sitting on the ground. And then it's like, if I need to like kind of push it down further into the ground, we can do that. Okay, so very, very simple log shape. I'm gonna make a copy of this just so I have one off to the side in case I need... Actually, no, we should make the copy the one that we work off of, because this one still has all of its settings. The copy is the one we'll work off of. I don't know why Maya does this, where it's like, you can still edit these settings, and like, they're perfectly... well, they were perfectly fine. I guess not anymore. Oh well. Yeah, Maya gets a little freaked out when, like, you start editing things. It's like, no! This isn't what I'm expecting! Okay, so... typically with logs, if you cut the log, it's obviously just gonna be a flat, like, shape, or not shape, flat surface straight down it. Which you could technically just make something like this that looks like a log. I'm gonna see if I can find something that looks a little more interesting, though, just to kind of check. So, like, you know, obviously because trees grow and stuff, they're gonna have a little bit more shape to them. And it's usually not a huge difference. Like, you're not usually gonna see a lot of changes in the way that it's going to be, like, it'll curve a little bit, but it's usually not very extreme. But it might, like, for example, certain parts might, like, kind of bow outwards randomly. You're gonna get knots in the wood. And I'm just debating how much I want to keep as, like, a very basic flat cylinder versus, like, oh, well, let's make it feel like it used to be, like, a natural-looking tree, you know? Because technically, if you want it to look a little more natural, you should add a little bit of detail. I just don't know how much I want to mess with detail, because that's going to mess up the, that could potentially mess up the texturing. So I'm just trying to see... I'm just looking up, like, log images really quick. To get, like, an idea, because I feel like doing, like, a flat cylinder is going to look super boring. Like, we can keep one as a flat cylinder, but it's gonna be, like, the least interesting log out of the bunch. Nope, that's not what I meant. There we go. A nice thing with logs, too, is, like, it's kind of like the, this one that I made. Like, you can just, like, cut them in half, too. So something I see a lot with like stylized logs, is one of the ones I just pulled up, I'm looking at like some 3D modeled logs. Something I see a lot is when it's like, there's the bark going out past the inside of the log, which is like, yeah, I see that a lot stylized, but it's not really something I see when the wood's cut. I'm like trying to figure out where the hell that's coming from. Like, is that because of like the way when it like breaks if it falls over? So it's like, do I want to try doing that? Because I do like the way it looks stylized like that, but it's like, I would imagine most of these would be cut logs, you know? Which wouldn't make sense then. But if it's just like a leftover log on the trail that's like naturally there, it could have that. I did not come into this with a good plan. Yeah, so like a natural log tends to have that. Okay, so maybe what I'll do is I'm gonna make a second one of these, and we'll do one that's kind of like a very natural looking log. I may have made these already before, but whatever, I'm gonna remake it. So something like this, and then what we're gonna do then is we're gonna, actually I'll grab the edges. We're gonna go ahead and flare this out just a tiny bit. Oops. Might remove the inside for a second just to do what I want. Okay, and then we can pull this back. Oh, I just realized there's stuff I left on the other side. Whoopsie. Okay. So we can pull this backwards now. And then grab these edges and maybe try pulling it in a little bit. Something like that, and then this can be made slightly smaller so it's not going to accidentally peek out. One thing I'm worried about is making it feel very natural if I do something like this, because I think just adding like the edge on like this isn't going to feel natural. Unfortunately. Make it a little bit of a crinkly log. Move this over. And then we delete this side. And then do a quick duplicate special. Nope, went the wrong direction. try that. Yeah, this didn't duplicate the way I wanted it to, but that's fine. We can work with that. Just pull this back in. And this just needs to go far back enough. And then these two can get combined. Grab the center. And merge all of those together. And then what we can do is we can try and edit this a little bit. So it just feels like more subtly natural, I hope. I hope. Did this one get moved too? Oh, I think this one might have gotten moved as well because of the duplicate special I did. Whoops. Yep, it did. Okay. That's not what I want. Shoot. See if I can just fix it by doing this. Yep, okay, that fixed that. It just looks like a weird tube, to be honest, right now. I should probably make it, like, thinner in some spots. Okay, let's try adjusting this. What we can also do is maybe just make this end a little bit bigger, too, so it kind of feels like the base of the trunk or something. I don't do a lot of organics, so this kind of stuff is very... not something I'm very experienced in, basically. So I'm just gonna give it my best. I think maybe what we could do is try to make it, like, kind of thin out, I think, at the bottom. Or not the bottom, on the opposite end. So it kind of feels like this was the base, and then it gets a little bit thinner as you go. Not too thin, too fast, though. That's not what I'm looking for. And this can be just like a general log in the forest that you can jump over, for example. Oh, did this get tilted again? Weird. Wait, why are you... Hello? Weird. Okay, I don't know what was going on with that. Pull this back in, I guess. I mean, worst case, I just duplicate the tube. I might have to do that instead, actually. Let's just do that. Okay. So... let me grab you, and let's just make this a little bit smaller, So again, it feels a bit more natural. There we go, got a new face for it. And we can just pull this back and just make it slightly larger so it fits in there and fully will fill it out. Hopefully it won't pop through anything we don't want it to. There we go. It'll look like it's kind of popping through when you zoom out, but it should be fine. Okay. I don't know. It's kind of a weird, lumpy looking log in like an awkward, artificial way, but hopefully this will do. Maybe make it like a bit thinner here or something. I might have to just come back to it and kind of play around with it so it feels more natural. 'Cause I don't know what I'm doing with it right now. So we'll do that, and then we're going to combine the whole thing together as one single piece, and that should work. So that's kind of an attempt at making like a very simple log that would just be kind of like sitting on the ground or something, hopefully. And then let's see. So if we were trying to do something that felt like a cut log, it really is just going to be kind of a cylinder. Like I could still add some detail to it with like having bumps and stuff, or places that like a branch was like sawn off on it. What I might do is, like, for the actual building of the jumps, I might just use a basic cylinder to get started. And then I can always come back and, like, actually figure out more detail with the logs if I want to. Like, if I can't make it look good with just, like, a cylinder and textures, I could add more detail, kind of like what I did with this one. And again, I might come back to this one too, because I'm not sure if I'm going to like it later or not. It just kind of feels a little funky to me. I feel like I could do more with it, but I don't know. So I think I'll leave it alone, because if I mess with it too much, I might just make it worse. So what we might do is call this one log natural 1, and then we'll copy that and paste that over here, but we'll call this one, oh, it's not gonna let me do it like this, log cut 1. So we'll use this as like the cut log, and the other one will be the natural log. Why does it feel like music's louder than it was before? Might duplicate you. Grab both of these and throw these under the mess. Just so... There we go. Just so we have a copy of those, just in case. Okay. So we got log cut and log natural. Delete the excess history because we don't need it. This plane is just to help me see what I'm doing. Okay. So with the cut log, what I want to do first, so we can obviously have one that's just a straight up log sitting here. Another one is going to be like a 3 log style jump where these things are like kind of on top of each other. Like this. Now that's already way taller than our cross-country sizing was supposed to be. I don't know if I left that rail in here. I don't think I did. Oh well, I can duplicate this and just steal a rail off of it. There we go. Steal this top rail off of this baby. And this will be our new height comparison. So if we're doing just beginner jumps, we want these 3 to be small enough that they're not going to be so high as to cause the jump to be above a beginner jump. So what you want to do then is design something that will still be a good beginner jump. So pull this back in. I think we could probably work with this size and then just put something down below that's like kind of holding it in place. Maybe just make it slightly bigger. Not too much bigger. Somewhere about there-ish. And then make this thicker so it'll make sense for actually holding these in place. There we go. Okay, so that's a good start. And then just tug that in a little bit. Okay. So I don't have a very good angle on this picture. I can't see what it looks like from the side. I could just leave it like this, but I'm also like a tryhard, so I kind of want to make it look like stuff's been cut into each other. I think the top 3 logs are okay, but the bottom log, I kind of want to make it like have the appearance of actually being cut out so that it actually makes sense for it to have the other logs. Okay, pull this in just a little bit so it's not sticking out too terribly far. So I'm kind of like looking for this kind of appearance of it being kind of sawn into, I guess is what I'm thinking. And then I want to remove this segment and then maybe just connect the edges here. Doesn't have to be anything super in-depth, to be honest. And we could just merge these over. Or not merge, but connect those up. Maybe I'll just scoot this down slightly so it still looks like it's like in there, and then tug this in tighter. We could probably grab these top parts and pull them back so it feels more like kind of a slope that actually like would keep it in place. Yeah, there we go, something like that. And then we can tug this in a little bit tighter, just so it really like looks like it's actually holding them there. And then maybe, since I pulled this in so far, we just pull these out a little bit further. Duplicate you over, and then pop you in where the old one was. There we go. So that gives us like a nice little holding thing for our logs. And what's really slick about that is we can duplicate this, so we have like the triple log set up. So we could just put like a single log on it. And then just grab both of these guys and tug this in to match like a single log. Maybe I'll just do something like this. I don't know what I want to actually name those, so I'll just call them like log holders or something. And then these guys can get grouped up. Rename this to log holder, log holder. Group those up. Pull that in. I can actually, let's scoot this one forward and this one back, so it's like, oh yeah, here's like, you know, just a single log being propped up, and then we have like a triple log prop, and this is relatively at the height, this one is a little below the height. And it's simple enough to just adjust these size-wise too, which is nice. We could do a cross jump. Could do... Okay, I got another idea for this one. So... maybe... grab this log out. So we use a thinner log, and then I don't know if sizing these up will look good. Let's see how it goes. What I'm thinking though is like two kind of like decently big side logs, and then having a sort of smaller log in the middle. Something like this. To pull it out a little bit. There we go. It looks like you could roll it around. Maybe just pull this in a little bit closer. So there we go. So it's kind of like two logs being used to like prop up another log. Could do it also where like there's like one, oh, did I accidentally make double there? Yeah, I accidentally made a second one. I didn't do that over here, right? No. Could also do it like this, but I don't know how good that would look. So, let's go ahead and group these guys up. So that's kind of another like sort of medium height one, like it's down below that one. Oh, we could do the crossed ones. So like maybe... The thing with these ones though is they're gonna need to have something kind of propping them up. This jump looks really cool though because they have, they do have one log thicker than the other one. So we come in here then. So we're gonna delete these two because we probably won't need them. And delete one of these. So one of these logs is a lot thicker and the other one's a lot thinner. So what I'm thinking is we do something like this to kind of really have like that nice looking offset so it feels more natural. Like it's like, oh yeah, I just found this log in the woods. I'm gonna use it for my cross country. And then go ahead and tilt both of these. And maybe make that one. Something like that, I think. And that's still kind of like a medium-ish jump. Put the thinner one in front. Okay, but then to have these two work, we're gonna need some kind of thing, and this one's also... This one's gonna need to be able to reach back to the base of the other one. Don't want to go inside the other one too much. Okay, and then basically there needs to be kind of a base of sorts. So pull this in. So yeah, leave the one straight and then what we can do then is have a segment of this kind of come out and use this to sort of like connect back up with that segment, I think. Oh, I guess one thing I'm not noting is this actually goes inside of the base. So that makes it easier for this to connect up properly. So this actually is kind of like cut into it so that this one can actually properly touch it. Like that a little bit. Get these at the same level. Because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the faces on this, tug this out, and then we're going to pull the top down on this, and this is going to create a nice little thing for it. To hopefully help with making it so that the... I am not thinking right now. Hopefully help make it so that the base is going to be a little bit more stable looking. I doubt anybody cares, genuinely. I care though. I'm just messing around with models anyways, so it's not like it really matters. I have no idea what's going on with that segment that's like supposed to connect up to this part of the wood. It feels like it's supposed to kind of like dip back like this, like it's supposed to like cup it or something. Actually, I think part of the problem I have here is I made my thing really high. So maybe let's tug this down just a little bit further. Yeah, because this isn't supposed to go too much higher than the actual logs themselves. You know what? I'm probably just gonna remove this segment because it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't have to be perfectly sensical, so let's remove it. And then the rest of it's just kind of supposed to look like it's like, oh yes, this has been like hammered into the wood and stuff, you know? So it's like you got your slightly thicker one, slightly thinner one. Posts. Grab this, make this go down a little bit. There we go. I wonder if I can find that image again. I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I don't see it, unfortunately. That's fine. I think this is close enough. It's kind of a little funky, but gets the job done. It's basically just crossed poles cut into this thing. I don't know if I should bother making this look like it's been cut into properly. Probably not, because I don't think, like, if you're coming at the jump at this direction, I don't think anybody's gonna notice. I guess I could leave that for later and decide on it another day. wonder if I should name these log holder logs. I'm gonna name this one big just because it is a little bit different. The other ones use relatively the same stuff, whereas that one's definitely gonna be like very different in terms of its textures. So, whoopsie. It's probably good to note that. Okay, so we have the natural log, we have a basic cut log, we have this one. Rename this to height so I can keep track of this. So we're gonna call this log jump. How was I renaming these? XC Tiger Trap. Okay, well, I guess it depends on if I want to merge everything together or not, because if I don't... Okay, maybe what we'll do then is we're gonna just rename these the way that I named the other ones. So we'll do this. We'll just call them, I think, log 1, 2, 3, etc. for now, just to give them some sort of naming. Just so I don't have to figure out actually what I want to name them yet. Log 4. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll work for now. Just for, like, naming conventions. Okay, so there's one that has like a big, has like a plank across the bottom, basically. There's some ones that are like uniquely shaped. You can integrate rocks. Okay, so I already made ones that were just the logs stacked and stuff. So you don't need to remake that. I'm not trying to do anything too decorative. I'm debating if I want to do more stuff like this one, where it's more like shaped like a standard jump, but just with logs instead of, you know, proper poles and stuff. Like the poles are the logs. Because I do have some examples here of that kind of stuff, and that could be a good one to do. Oh, there's this one that's like 3 logs together. Okay, so I could do that one, and then could do the logs kind of like vertical. I like the look of that. So there's the vertical logs, there's the ones that have like the base at the bottom. I don't know if I like the base one personally, like aesthetically speaking. There's this one that has, well, it kind of is like the base one, but I like the look of this one better. Which has, it's actually like 2 jumps in one. I don't know if I'm gonna do anything with like trees and other background objects. I'm just kind of trying to make some basic stuff right now. What I'm thinking is like, as long as I make basic things, I can always build off of them later. It's just like for me trying to get started and pick things and just do it is like the hardest part. So if I could just start with something, if I come back to this later, I'm like, okay, I need some like specific jumps for like this part of the area and stuff, you know. it'll be a lot easier because then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I already made like a log cross jump. I already made a stacked log jump, you know, so I already have all that stuff together. So yeah, I don't like the one that has it across the bottom, but I do like this one that's like, it's basically consists of like 3 logs horizontally, 2 on the bottom on the ground to show where the line is, where the ground line is, and then the actual log that goes across the top that makes up the jump, and then you can use 2 more logs, like, or 2 to 4 more logs to set up the actual, you know, poles to hold those logs in place. I think I might do something like that. Okay, so that one, the vertical shaped logs where they're just kind of cut stumps basically. And maybe this triple one that's sort of like a corner jump. It does kind of work like a corner jump. That could be an interesting corner jump. And then it rises up too, which is interesting looking. Yeah, I might do these 3. Or at least like 1 or 2 of them. I don't know if I want to do the corner jump that bad. It looks very specific or specialized, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave off the corner jump just because I don't want to get too specific with the log jumps. They're supposed to be very... This makes it sound bad. They're supposed to be very generic. Like, I want them to be very easy to pop into different places is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I think I'll do the one... I think I'll do the one that is the, just simple bar across the top, which actually reminding me of that. Okay, so this is like the max height. Some of the ones that I made that were shorter were around this height. So if we're gonna make maybe 2 heights of this one, because this one's gonna be easy to make 2 different heights. We could do a setup like this, where the tall one's up here and the small one's down here. That'll be easy. And then I can just basically make 1 jump and then duplicate it and then just adjust the actual height. I like the sound of that. Okay, so once again, we're going to duplicate this poor little log group. This height can go back up here. Okay, so you are going to become log group 5 now. Okay, so what we'll do is we need a thinner log. So you, my unfortunate victim, are going to be that thinner log. And I need you to go like this so I can see where the 2 different heights I need are going to be. So... I guess I'll start with the tall one. Why not? Okay, so this is gonna be the tall log. If I rotate these back to vertical, should be pretty straightforward. Can I rename you back to 1, or was the first one the one I was 1? 1, 2, rename you to 3. And then we can put 2 logs on the ground. Ooh, wait, why did you get... Why are you so tall? Jeez. Shorten you up. Then pull that back out of the ground a little bit. There we go. Okay, so basically what I'm thinking is then we make a duplicate of both of these, but then these 2 get made shorter so that they're actually able to contain the other log. Something like this, I'd say. I'm liking this. This looks cool. So we can remove these. And then pretty much tug both of these back in. I'll let them be like a little bit wider. pull it in a little bit. So then we have this inner space here that we could put stuff in for visuals. Pull that back out just a little bit. There we go. And then just make this one stick out a good bit. And what we're trying to do is have this butted right up against these poles, and then these two are going to act as means for this to kind of have something to hang on to. I'm debating how I want this handled though, because I'm not a huge fan of it like sticking through it. I kind of want it to look like this has been like kind of nailed in, and then I guess I could technically just make both of these shorter, and it's pretty much like the log is like kind of on top of them maybe. What if I do this so it looks like it's been like vaguely carved? Just like tug it up like this. I think that could work. It kind of works. Okay, the texturing might get really wonky on this underneath, but I guess we'll figure that out later. I'll see how it looks later. Why does it feel like this one isn't in as far? Whatever, good enough. Okay. So, something like this. I think that works. So basically, like, you'd be coming at it from this angle, but, like, it's basically propped up on this bottom one, and then, like, you know, connected up to the other one, probably, like, with nails or something, so that it stays together. I am a little bit worried about how much these log jumps are in terms of polys, though, because, like, oh boy, that's a lot of polygons, baby. But I guess we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so now I'm just gonna use this one as my height thingamajigger, and then we're gonna scooch everything back down to be at the level it was before. So something like that. Okay, and then all these bits need to be in their own group. And I need to pull that group out. Probably should swap names for these because technically I'm putting it shortest to tallest in these guys. So you are actually going to be 6, you are actually going to be 5, and you need to get reversed. There you go. Okay, let's see here. How are these naming conventions going? gonna go with something like this, I think, for naming. Okay, so... log cut. No, don't do that on me. Oh my god. 3. Is there somebody else who's called 1 in here? Probably. One, 2. I might have to adjust how I'm naming these because I think I just might have reversed what order I'm putting things in for naming. I hate when it just skips over the number I actually want it to be. Come on. So dumb. Okay. Well, that's a good number of log jumps just put together pretty quickly. I could still do the stump one, because I think that one might look nice. But yeah, otherwise, I think that's about it. Okay, so if we do the stump one, let's just grab from you. Call this 7. We won't need these ones. We will need these guys, but they need to get turned. Why is that one taller? Weird. Okay, I'll lower them down. This needs to move along so I can see where the ground level is. Actually, I'll just use these two first. Log cut. I'll call it vertical. Actually, you know what? No, I'll do the ones so that they stay organized. Nice and organized. Okay, so you are kind of below. Just scoot you down a little bit further. Duplicate. So I would like both of these to be made a little bit lower. Let's see here. Let's put the lowest one at that level, and then let's put the highest one at this level. So let's pull this one down to here. Let's do something like that. I'm a little bit tempted. I think, like, because it's a horse jump and these are logs, it would be a good idea to adjust the adjust it so that it has like that curved top. So this one, we curve the top, and then what we want to do in addition is make this further feel, might do something like this, make this further feel like it's kind of curled inwards, I guess. Not curled, I don't know if that's the right word. That's not what I meant to hit. You. We want to make it so that, like... Ooh, that's not it either. How do I make you look good? Maybe try this. Something like that. We basically want to make it look like it was kind of cut into, so it's kind of like a proper slope, just because I think, like, if the horse is trying to jump over it, you don't want to have them knock their feet against it as best as possible. And the ones that I'm seeing here have, like, that cut to make them look slanted, which is something else I noticed with, like, this. For example, I had to make this one slanted a little bit, and it has, like, that curved section to it, so... Tuck this down maybe a little bit. Just so it feels more gentle, you know? Like it was very nicely carved into and made more of a gentle slope. Okay, we'll try something like that then. Maybe also adjust these top sections too, so that they kind of curve downwards just a little bit more. Something like that, I think. We'll see how it looks. If I hate it, I will just remake it. It works. It's also at the level I need it at. Okay, so we can move these away now. And what we'll do is we'll scoot this baby in a little closer. And then just make a whole bunch of these. I'll need one of these on the opposite side, so duplicate a bunch more of them. And then duplicate at least one more. Get this guy scooted over a little bit. Just adjust the angle on them a little. That one can stay straight. Just so they feel a little different from each other. Make that feel a little less aligned. Just to give it like that natural feel, so it's not like, oh my god, this is so perfectly straight. Like, that doesn't look normal, you know? And then maybe we can make these two a little bit thicker on the ends too, just so they feel like they were cut out of a bigger tree. There we go. I think that looks pretty cool. Okay, so that's number 7. And then we have log cut vertical. I'll call it log cut vertical tall versus short. Log cut vertical short. And then we'll rename all these guys. There we go. Yep. Okay, that should work really well. I like the look of that. Hey, so took about a little over an hour, but we have a very nice selection now of some different log jumps. So, and I can go ahead and pop all these into my spreadsheet. God, you can tell my brain is fried. I can pop all these into my spreadsheet, and then we'll actually have like a good number of cross-country jumps to work off of, and then basically if I ever actually get around to legitimately making anything with any of this, they're pretty simple to update to be more advanced, because you just have to adjust height, width, etc. Most of these, that's not that hard to do. So these are basically beginner / intermediate level ones, with most of them being pretty low. I could like arguably very easily make something like this, make it much smaller, you know, make like lower this size and then pull these in or something. Not hard at all to do those kinds of changes, which is nice. Okay, so then we can go ahead and do this. I'll go ahead and call this a solo log group, just so those two are grouped together. And then all of these guys can go into the same thing. I'll do obstacles, and then obstacles logs group, and then the fencing group. So there we go. Nice and neat and tidy. I don't know if I want to keep these heights and get rid of the plane. I think that's good for cross-country jumps. I don't think I want to do any other cross-country jumps. And then modeling-wise, I think any further stuff. Also, since I moved that under there, yes, it will disappear with that. Okay, sweet, perfect, 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 perfect. Okay. Oh, I think these were my height. Yeah, these were my cross-country height stuff. So I'm gonna delete those now because I do have those. I just forgot where I put them. Yeah. So I think modeling-wise, I'm gonna save this again, and then let's go ahead and look at the list TM. So I need to update the list to actually include, like, the proper cross-country jumps. I don't know if I'm gonna, like, label each one specifically. We'll see on that, like, in terms of, like, what I'm gonna call them. The thing with cross-country jumps is, like, a large amount of it is based on terrain, which sucks for me because I don't have a environment to, like, build out of the terrain with. So anything that's going to be like coffin jumps and banks and all those things, I'm not doing right now because I'm just doing like super basic models that you can plop down anywhere. But at the same time, like these are very simple jumps that should be pretty easy to obviously modify, place, etc. So it's like when I do start working on the terrain and stuff, I can put these down more. I can put them in certain orientations. They can be on like opposite sides of things like a ditch or whatever. They can be in the middle of water. It can very much change the environment, which will be really cool. I'm excited for that. I just have to actually get to the point of like building this stuff and putting it in an engine. I do want to do a keyhole jump eventually, but I'm going to hold off on modeling that for now just because it's not something that you're going to see in basic stuff, and I don't want to be stressing about making advanced courses when I've not even made even a single course. So keyhole jump might be something we come back to later. I would like to make a big arena eventually as well, with like the full-size dressage arena. The other stuff I have on here, I'm considering making a hurry-scurry jump for the western stuff, but I don't know if I'm gonna do like a hurry-scurry like competition. So I'm just gonna leave it off in terms of what I'm modeling right away. And then I'm also going to be holding off on any decorative stuff and flat racing. Flat racing especially because I just don't see myself prioritizing that. I like designing things for it. Like, I like coming up with ideas for it. But, like, realistically speaking, if I do ever translate this stuff to something that is game engine based, which would be the main reason for me doing these 3D models, is I'm trying to give myself, like, assets I will have to be able to work with that are my own. I don't expect people to want to play, like, a racing game I make, especially if I'm, like, kind of a newbie designer. Like, you're gonna go to Rival Stars for that. Rival Stars is a good game for that, you know? So I would rather focus on making things that are, like... Well, you can find jumping and cross-country and stuff, like, all over the place, but... You know, I'd rather focus on something other than racing when, like, there's already a really good race game out there, so. Horse racing game. I do really, really want one of my first games, though, to be, like, maybe not first games, but, like, one of the goals I want to do with this kind of stuff is making an endurance, horse racing game, because I am really interested in endurance riding. It's not something I've been able to do myself, because, I stopped riding horses before I went to college, but, if I ever get back into riding horses, that's, like, the big thing I want to try and do. I don't want to do anything super advanced competition, but it's one thing that I am genuinely interested in outside of just basic trail riding. Like, I think there's just something so cool about being able to, like, control how well your horse manages getting through, that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, like, my brain is just absolutely dying. It's like, you can tell I'm, like, very burnt out. Like, I just cannot talk. I can't talk properly, I guess is the way to put it. Okay, anyways, yeah, so we have dressage, cross-country, show jumping, general stuff. And you guys saw me make all those. So I guess the next thing that we might make, and I don't know if I really am up for continuing too much longer, but next stuff will probably be items like grooming supplies, like hoof pick, brushes, you know, maybe shampoo bottles, I don't know. And then, like, food supplies, so like buckets, like hay, treats like apples and carrots and stuff. And then maybe like sort of, I don't know how interactive it will be compared to some of these items. I mean, some things are going to probably be a little more decorative. Some things might be actually like genuinely used. But other items I have on here that could be things that I might model would be like a pasture shelter, a saddle rack, a horse ball, which that's probably like the easiest one on here. Horseshoes, you know, like horseshoes might be actually more decorative. I doubt I'm actually gonna like show horseshoes on the horse. Maybe veterinarian supplies, trophies, ribbons, stall toys, like those kinds of things might be just fun little things to model. I think I've mentioned this already, I'm not too worried about how much use my objects are gonna get. Because a lot of this is more just me doing it for fun, honestly. I had a friend suggest that, like, I should probably, like, put my models in The Sims. I'm like, you know, I might actually consider that because, like, at least if I put my stuff in The Sims, it might actually get some use. I've never modded for The Sims, though, to be honest. Like, I've modded The Sims, I've never made a mod for The Sims. Like, the closest I ever got was, like, editing, I think, textures or something for, like, The Sims 2, like, ages ago. So, yeah, I haven't made really my own custom content or anything for Sims, so I'm interested. I'm just like, oh god, how am I gonna tackle this? How much work does it take? Like, so I guess we'll see. I think it could be really cool though, like especially taking some of my show jumping stuff and putting it in there, and seeing people like interact with it. Even just having it as like background props would be cool too. Yeah, so basically, those are some of the, like, the last things I mentioned were, like, more the useful objects. Then I do have, like, categories for, like, background objects and decorative objects, so I don't know how many of these I would actually be, like, up for modeling before I might just, like, swap to a different thing for art streams, but I do have stuff like, you know, vehicles and horse trailers, wheelbarrow, shovel, pitchfork, etc. Obviously, like, shovels and pitchforks might make actual sense to have as, like, useful objects. They're just under background objects for now because I don't know how I'm gonna handle that in terms of, like, actual gameplay and stuff. Lassos, hitching posts, like, I don't know, carriage and sled. I don't realistically think I'm gonna, like, tackle any of these soon. It was more me just kind of trying to put down ideas. And then we, of course, have, like, things like, you know, trees, bushes, flowers, etc. Again, I don't really do organics, so those might be ones that I have to look up a lot in terms of how to model them to do it. And then, like, you know, more building architecture stuff, so, like, bridges, fences, fence gates, etc. Like proper fences. I did model a little bit of fencing in the past, so I do kind of want to, like, re-tackle that and see how that can work out. One thing I really, really wish I had done before was figure out how to make doors and gates work. I just used to have them as, like, non-colliding, so you could just go straight through them, but the walls you could collide with, because I never actually figured out how to make a door open. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I could actually figure that out on, like, stream or something, and you guys can watch me, like, fail in, like, Unity or Unreal. And then decorative stuff is just kind of the usual things you'd think of, like statues, fountains, maybe lanterns, lights, and stuff. Just fun things. So yeah. I don't know if I want to reuse any of my old models I made in the past. I'm really kind of trying to remake a lot of stuff, so I'm remaking it with, like, what kind of skills I have now, and trying to eventually hopefully start pushing myself to learn new skills, because I know there's a lot of things I just don't know about 3D, and one of the things I do want to get into is working more in Blender. My main goal with Blender is I really want to learn the sculpting in it, but I would love to just be able to work in Blender more like how I work in Maya. Because, like, Blender is such a powerful program. It is literally the Swiss Army knife of 3D, you know? And it's like, I love Maya for, like, the layout, and I love it especially for, like, the rigging and animation of it. But like, God, if I could use Blender, I would be so like unstoppable. So yeah. I think we're gonna call it a night here because I think this is pretty good. We got all the models done. I don't know what I'm gonna do next week. For next Thursday, if I'm up for it. Because like right now it's kind of hit or miss in terms of what's going on with this 48 stuff. We're in the middle of the busy season. It sucks because it goes till Memorial Day. Ugh. I don't know how I managed to do so much overtime last year. Like, I just was like hyper fixated and just like plowing through, which was great because it helped me like pay off a large part of my loans. Oh god, I wish that was me this year. I am not doing it, so I'm not handling it so well this year. But yeah, anyways, I don't know what we're gonna do next Thursday if I am up for it. I do have some drawings I need to finish, so I may swap gears from doing 3D to maybe doing a bit of 2D. So I might work on those instead, because I need to finish the front-back versions of my new horse base that I made. And some other things I want to do is I want to try actually drawing good versions of my saddles, or not saddles, but my tack in general. Because right now a lot of the stuff I have is very bare minimum appearance. I think I'm going to probably pull up the goodbye screen, so... We still got the Valentine stuff. Look at that. I love that. I think it looks so cute. Also, happy leap year, guys! God, I can't believe it. It's already been 4 years since the last one. This is super random, but I have a, I play Fight Rising, and like, it's like, oh yay, it's my leap year dragon's 1 year birthday. No, he is 4 years old, but, I hatched a dragon 4 years ago on this day. And it's finally his birthday again. Poor boy doesn't get a birthday. I actually know somebody who's born on leap year on the 29th, so it's kind of funny. Anyways, yes, I don't know what we're going to be doing next time. I do want to work on the 2D stuff. I don't know if I'll do that on stream or not. I don't know if I'll still be up for streaming next week, but we'll see. And then I want to work on the tack eventually, so we might do that on stream. I already have, like, the basic concepts done, and I have vector versions of tack. I just really want to try and make something that feels more fleshed out, that feels like it looks good, you know, like it's actual drawing and not just me making some crummy little sketch. So we might do that next time. We'll see. I might do some more modeling. Maybe we'll dip into doing, like, the little stuff with, like, the brushes and horse feed and stuff like that. I guess we'll see. I do want to keep doing modeling throughout the year, though. I really miss doing 3D modeling, so there's that. And then I would like to, of course, get back to talking about world building. That could be something that might come up on, like, me playing another game and running around in, like, Star Stable or some other horse game and being like, oh yeah, here's some lore and stuff, so you guys can actually hear about that. So we'll see. If anybody has any opinions, though, please let me know. Probably the best place to toss those, besides the Discord, is in my YouTube chats. Or not YouTube chat, in my YouTube comments. So let me know if you guys have any preference on what you want to see. Otherwise, have a happy leap year. Bye!